One thing I love about hosting during the morning U.S. hours is the international audience we have. Team 56th sent in a $50 donation earlier saying, "Hello from South Korea. The time zone stuff made it difficult to watch the most popular speedruns, but right now it's a comfortable 9 p.m. at my home, and I'm going back to my childhood playing Age of Empires 1. Cheers to all the runners and everyone involved in the event. Also, for those donating for the first time, I saved the animals a year ago, and when it happened, it was quite disappointing. Guys, it's not a big deal. We need to save the frames instead of some pixel animals."
All right.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
I gotta go through character creation and then we'll count down.
Yeah, it starts after character creation.
All right, so quickly, we're gonna play Elf, Mage. Elf is a little bit better than Human because they start off with better stats. And
Basically
Mage
magic.
is OP. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we have to start off going through this fade section, which is pretty short. It's about 3 minutes. Not a ton to say here. These little wisp things just die in one shot to Arcane Bolt. So we have to kill a few of those. And then there's going to be some wolves later that we have to use Fire Blast on instead, because they die in one hit to that, but not Arcane Bolt. So basically, we just run around talking to some people here for a bit and then kill some enemies.
Yeah. One of the nice things about doing the mage background is you have a specific intro section based on your character race and or class. Mages all have the same. Human one would be the same origin story that you're seeing here as a mage. But Elf is a little better just because of the +1 magic. This is also, fortunately, the shortest of the intro stories. So the fact that you'd want to play as a mage anyway for the rest of the game, it's convenient.
Yeah, so I should mention quickly, most of the dialogue in this run doesn't actually matter. There's about 5 or 6 guys that I have to make very specific dialogue choices with, and these 2 guys that I'm talking to right now are some of them. So it might look like I'm going through dialogue a little slower here, and that's because I need to think about what I'm doing rather than mash through. And this guy here is the hardest dialogue in the game.
I don't.
Yeah, so he asks you riddles, basically, to turn the mouse into a bear. It's more important to not have to fight the guys along the way and only do the mandatory fights than it is to have him as an ally and as a bear, because magic is just that powerful.
Yeah, so this is probably the hardest fight to do optimally in this section. These wolves like to move after you've cast Fire Blast, and it doesn't change its direction it's shooting in when that happens, so you kind of get some bad luck. That was okay luck. It is possible to hit all those wolves with 1 Fire Blast, and as soon as you do that, you can just start running over this way, because the damage over time will kill them, even though they don't die immediately. Alright, so here's the last guy here.
And even though he's this thing of fire, well, he takes damage from fire.
Yeah, so the initial hit on it doesn't damage him, but the damage over time still does. Okay, so that's that section. So right here, we're going to be doing our first big glitch, which is the attribute point glitch. Basically, you put points into an attribute that you don't care about, hit reset a few times, and you can take more out.
Yeah, and strength is...
Okay. All right, so basically, as you can see, we got up to 18 points. And we're basically going to go up to 90 here.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I'm also going through it and quitting out because, you know, I started off with 3, and every time I reset, I would get 3. But once I go up to 90, every time I reset, I get 90 more points that I can take out, which makes it a lot faster.
Yeah, this is only available on the original version of the game.
Yes, so I should mention this in general. A lot of the glitches I'm doing here are not going to work on Steam or Origin versions because they automatically default to the latest patch. And there's no way to go back in the patch, and you have to go back to like a really early patch, so you need a disc version of the game to be able to perform the speedrun on this patch that I'm playing on. So yeah, we're going to get up to 540 points here. I think I might have gone over in terms of the number of times I need to reset, so...
With that, this is...
I'll just do it like normally.
This is a good time for a couple donations if you want.
Yeah.
Sure thing. We've got a $100 donation from Buttercack3 who says, "Wild cancer appeared. Mankind uses AGDQ. It's super effective." And a reminder that in the upcoming run, our next game, GTA 3, we do have a bid war going on right now for you to choose what radio station we'll be listening to through the playthrough.
Okay. I just want to quickly say something, and you can go back to more donations. So yeah, the stat layout we do there is around 60 Constitution, which gives you more health, around 420 Magic, 100 Willpower, and 20 Cunning. So Cunning we need for some conversations to be able to pick options that let us skip fights. Magic is just do more damage with spells. We go up to that high specifically because that is about as high as you need to kill most basic enemies with one spell cast. And Willpower, we need a big mana pool, so that's that. So you can go back to more donations. We're just running around here talking to some people.
Just the last bit of the intro story for the mage here. So it's just plot and running around mostly.
All right, I have $150 from Sage Vodka, who says, "I discovered speedrunning just last year because of Letter Sword's Dragon Age runs. I always looked forward to watching this entertaining run, and it's great to be able to see it live. Good luck, the Archdemon awaits. Since killing the Butcher incentive was already met, put this donation toward getting the cannon in Bloodborne." Also, Pally Tankful sends in $20 saying, "Hey Litters, was going to shorten your name, but I didn't want to ruin the donation incentive. Good luck on the run from the whole Dragon Age community." They may be referring to my fake incentive to find out how to say your name.
You can keep going.
Sure thing. I've got $10 from Agent Pluto, who says, "I've watched AGDQ recordings on YouTube for years now, but always ended up missing the stream. I'm super glad to be able to tune in and donate during the stream this time, and I'm even more glad because Dragon Age is one of my favorite game series of all times. Good luck, Letter, and the rest of the runners, and let's kill cancer dead."
Okay, so we're getting back to some interesting stuff here in a second. So we just got one last section of this Mage Origin to do, which is go into the basement and help this guy and his girlfriend try to break out, and they need to grab something from the basement to do that.
Yeah, basically one of the plot and setting things here is that mages are controlled essentially by having vials of their blood stored so that they can be tracked wherever they go. And so he wants his vial so he can be free and go wherever he wants without having to be essentially beholden to the conventions of the mages.
Yeah. So now we're going to do a glitch that people who've seen like Knights of the Old Republic and things like other older BioWare games are probably familiar with. This is party teleport. So when you get some of your party members really far away from other ones, they'll teleport back to them instead of running back. So that's what we're doing with these two guys. We're just getting them far enough away so they can teleport back. And when you do that, the game kind of ignores walls, and you can just go past that door. So that saves about 2 minutes of running all the way through this area.
Yeah, normally you have to go around through several rooms doing a bunch of fights, and now he already has what he came for. He can't, however, leave immediately. He has to hit a trigger for the game to realize where he is. He's going to have to fireball a few more enemies. That's the reason he took the fire path right away, is basically for fireball, which is the earliest, most powerful, and most versatile AoE spell available at this point.
So yeah, I had to go back and hit that fake wall and the statue for that door that I just went through, the one that was like doing electricity to actually open. All right, so that's the Mage Origin. We just got like one little cutscene here. All right, so now to Ostagar. So we do have, again, to do a lot of story kind of triggers that we have to hit here, so that's what we're going to do here. So this would be a good time for some more donations.
All right, there's just a couple here. One from Doc Pop for $75. He says, go run, guys. This time it's for a very good reason. Yes, every dollar we're raising going to Prevent Cancer Foundation. And Anonymous with a $5 donation saying, I remember playing this run with you way back when. Skip through the dungeon door, bro. She'll have to find out who that was from later. And that's all for now.
All right, so what we're doing now is we're just grabbing some party members that we have to before we can do this next quest. So this is Alistair. He'll be joining us a little bit through the run. He's not very useful, though.
He's there.
He's there. You really only bring him when you have to, because he's not very useful. And this is one of the points where you have to bring him with you. And now we're going to grab 2 other party members. So, if you've played this game before, you're probably aware that these 2 party members that just joined us are only basically for this quest normally. But that's not how this game is going to go. All right, so I should explain what I'm going to be doing here. So on this patch that I'm playing on, there's also an infinite experience glitch, which is what I'm going to try to set up here. So the infinite experience glitch works because you're supposed to get 2 sets of items to complete this quest I'm on. One is 3 vials of blood from some of these enemies that you're going to kill here in a second, and one is a group of treaties. So if you try to turn in or talk to the quest giver with either the treaties but not the blood vials, or the blood vials but not the treaties, you'll get a special dialogue that tells you, oh, you have one thing but not the other, go back and get it. But for some reason on this patch, that still gives you the experience like you complete the quest. And you can just keep talking to him over and over again to get a ton of experience. Okay, so now I'm going to leave the rest of my party behind because I have really high stats, and I'm just going to run past this next group. And if I brought them with me, they would like get caught up in fighting them and probably die.
Yeah, there are specifically a couple rogues in the next group, Genlock rogues, that can follow you most of the way, and you want to be out of combat as much as possible when running because it reduces your speed by 40%.
Yeah, so you'll see that right at this bridge here. One will definitely spawn that you can see on the left here. I'm just going to kill him to be safe. There's 2 more. They already hit me. So yeah, these other 2 start in stealth. It's not good. Whatever. So, you know, ideally what you'd want to do is just run past all of them and hope they just stay in stealth the whole time, but I'd rather just play it safe in a marathon setting. because it does waste a lot more time. And there's a pretty good chance they'll follow you. So the rest of the guys will exit combat with me here in a second, and I'll get about 5 to 10 seconds of out-of-combat speed, which is nice.
Yeah, and he's getting the treaties first because the blood vials are closer to where he needs to be. Means a little bit less backtracking later.
Yeah, so in that first group of Darkspawn, I intentionally left some corpses there that had vials on them, and I'll grab one of those later, but I'm going to grab 2 of the 3 vials I need now, and I'll grab the 3rd one when I come back here in a little bit. So here's the treaties. We'll get some cutscenes, because the treaties are not actually here. That's where they're supposed to be, but...
And say hello to the second most broken character in this run.
Yeah, so Morgan's pretty good.
Or maybe third.
Morgan's pretty good because she can go fast.
There are 3 characters that are pretty important to this run in different ways. The main character with the incredibly high magic, Morgan with her speed, and another character who you'll see in a few minutes. Yeah.
So the last party member is really the one that kind of breaks the game open in a way. So yeah, we just got infinite experience to do. So
yeah, so he's going to talk to Duncan a whole bunch of times here, so this is another good point for donations.
Yeah, so this is like 45 or 50 turn-ins, and we're trying to get to level 10.
All right, let's make the grind pass a little faster with the donations then. Your name here, thank you for a $50 donation. Let's see the latter half of this comment. We'll explain the first. He says, good luck on the run, letters, words. I'm putting this $50 towards letters, words, and against letter swords. So I apologize, but I may have just put your nickname up to the highest bidder. But it is all for charity. So. Also, Connor094 with a $5 donation saying, had to donate during Letters Run. Always love seeing him break BioWare games, and he was my inspiration to start running Mass Effect 2. Good luck on the run.
Yeah, shoutouts to your name here as well. Mass Effect runners represent.
Okay, so the reason we did that was actually just to get a bunch of spells and some of the coercion skills, which let you use specific conversation options. So some of the conversation options we're going to use later in the run require a lot of coercion to pull off without them, without them getting angry at you and just attacking you. Okay, so now we're just grabbing the last vial of blood. So we need to do this because the area we need to go to only appears. The door only appears on the night map of Ostagar, and you can only get to the night map by having all this stuff to complete the quest.
You don't actually have to turn it in at this point, which also kind of breaks a few triggers and allows you to run through this area without enemies spawning and having to fight them, although you will have to in the next area. Another thing that's worth mentioning is he has the haste spell up right now, which increases your run speed by 30%. He's also, you see the exit game there? That's because there's a memory leak in this game. The more loading screens you see, the longer they take, so it gets progressively worse. So he's going to do that, I believe, 4 times over the course of the run to make them not take forever.
Yeah, so that's also one especially bad thing about this older patch. BioWare did fix it a bit in the later patches. It's still somewhat of a problem, and it's a pretty well-known thing that is a problem with the PC version of the game. Just the game in general, the console versions do it too. But usually for most people, it doesn't end up being as big of a problem because they're not going through as many areas as quickly as I am, so it's not as noticeable. Okay, so now we're going to use this party teleport glitch again to get past this gate. So this skips a bunch of fighting on the way up to this tower. It also skips the Grey Warden joining. So during the Grey Warden joining, these 2 temporary party members are supposed to die, but now they don't, which is pretty helpful later on. Okay. So now we're in this tower. So we're going to leave everyone behind pretty much the entire time we're here because we're going to, again, take advantage of being able to run past enemies. But we don't actually get out of combat with most of them in this area. We can just group them up really easily and kill them all with like 1 or 2 spell casts, which is pretty useful. Yeah, so this guy on the stairs likes to not cooperate, so that's not surprising. But it is possible to kill him as well as everyone else with 1 spellcast. Okay. So this is the trickiest floor in terms of pulling stuff off. You have a lot of very precise spellcasts. Now I'm gonna stop a couple times to try to line them up properly.
Yeah, it's one of the few times that pausing is used in the speedrun ever, simply because the timing on that first fireball cast is really tight.
Yeah, so this one's also hard, but oh, I did actually, no, I didn't get it. So this one, you basically had to fireball a very specific position right as the door opens. Otherwise, all of them will not be in the radius.
Yeah, so
Blast.
as you can see, Fireball is his main AoE spell right now. He's going to get another one, Inferno, for later. Walking Bomb is another one that you saw him use there, which got him the Heavy Hitter achievement way earlier than you would ever expect to get it.
Yeah, so you'll notice I'm getting a lot of achievements in this one. That's just I'm playing with no profile selected, which means that achievements are not unlocked and don't save either. So this one, I'm going to wait a bit to try to group up as many enemies as I possibly can. I got kind of bad luck because a lot of them grouped up on the stairs. Ideally, you'd want to get them pretty much all to be at the bottom of the stairs. I'm going to heal again. Okay, that was kind of bad, but it's okay.
And some of you may have less than fond memories of kiting this guy around the battlefield. Well, you don't need to worry about that in a speedrun.
Yeah, he dies pretty easily. So the worst thing that can happen in this fight, in any ogre fight, which you have to do 2 of, I guess, is that if a non-mage ability kills them, you get like a kill cam, which really like it's slow-mo and it takes like 10 or 15 seconds and it's really bad for speedrun. So
now you're getting the main quest of the game, essentially. You need to go to a bunch of different places around the country and use those treaties to get people to help you against the Archdemon and the Darkspawn Menace. The first place you have to go here, there's a rather important character to the speedrun. As was mentioned earlier, it used to be Leliana, but because of the glitch, the door clipping glitch that you saw earlier, he's able to get into Sten's cage and release him without having to do the quest for that, which makes recruiting him a little faster.
yeah, so if you didn't have these temporary party members here, you would never have a rogue at this point, so you couldn't unlock this. And in that case, you would want to get Leliana, because she's the only other party member that can pull off this glitch. But it turns out that we can do that.
So now you're going to see the first instance of Flying Swarm. This has a plus 100% speed boost in and of itself, and it stacks multiplicatively with haste, so she's moving at 260% speed. It's useful in several sections where you have to traverse pretty long distances.
Yeah, so you'll see why it's especially useful in a bit here. So we just, yeah, Sten is the most useful party member. You'll see why in about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
He's definitely the most visually broken character.
Yes, that is very true. Okay, so yeah, pretty much for most of the rest of the game, this is going to be our party. We're going to bring this rogue guy with us, and then Sten and Morgan.
And you're guaranteed an encounter here.
Yes, so there's 3 different encounters you can get here. You actually want to get the second fastest one because it just has such a high likelihood of appearing that you're likely to get it on the only other time you get have a chance of getting a world encounter.
It basically means you're less likely to get an additional encounter later.
Yeah. So if you got either the third fastest encounter or the fastest encounter here, you're almost certainly going to get the one I just got, which is the second fastest one. So that's the one I wanted to get, so that's a good start. Okay, so we're going to do another save and quit here because loading screens are bad. Then after that, we're going to do the biggest skip in the game. So get hyped for that.
Fortunately, the load screens are counted out when doing actual runs.
Yes. So to give you guys some perspective on how bad the loading screens actually are, my PB without loading screens is a 3658, but with loading screens, it's a 4958. So they're pretty bad. I mean, it's not as bad as it sounds because the map sequences where you like got the blood drawing across the map, those are always long. So they're technically loading screens, but they won't like load any faster if you're loading fast. Like there's a minimum amount of time it'll take, but they can also take longer depending on how many loading screens you've seen. Okay, so now I should explain how I just broke the game. Yeah. So there's a gate there that that's not supposed to open until you've gotten all the treaties and recruited all the allies you can possibly get. But using the teleport glitch, you can just clip past it, and if you ever go into this area, the game just thinks, oh, you're here? So you must have gotten all the treaties already. So yeah, now we're in the Landsmeet, which is basically the second to last major section of the game, as far as the story goes. All right, so now we're going to head to Arlhouse Estate to advance the quest. So we just got a bunch of different things we have to do in Denerim now to advance the story a bit. So now we're going to break the game even more. I'm going to do this first.
This is called the conversation glitch. Yes. Essentially what happens is he talks to Sten with two different characters, removing him and re-adding him to the party immediately. The second conversation brings you to the default position on the map, which in most cases is out of bounds. So he's going to, for the most part, be navigating with the mini-map in these sections. And so you can see here the Flying Swarm Haste combo going really fast out of bounds, and then using the swap trick to just bring everyone back in bounds here. And he's skipped a whole bunch of stuff by doing that.
Yeah. So that probably, that out of bounds probably saves about 2 or 3 minutes. So we're going to do another one here. I should mention, you're going to see me do this a lot. I already did it once. So a lot of times I'm going to like quick save and quick load. This is just to get abilities off cooldown. I'm going to do it again here. So whenever you go into a conversation, Morgan gets taken out of Flying Swarm, even if she's not like involved in the conversation. So it takes 60 seconds to get off cooldown, so it's much faster to just quick save and quick load, because whenever you load into a new save, all of your cooldowns are off, or all your spells are off cooldown.
Yeah, so of course he had to talk to Sten again to do the conversation glitch to get out of bounds here. So that brought her out of Flying Swarm, and he needed to get her back into it right away.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is actually entering the dungeon part of this section through the door you're supposed to exit it from. And this just puts you right next to where Arlhouse is, which is like the boss you're supposed to fight at the end of the dungeon section. So that saves a lot of time.
And Vulnerability Hex, the spell that you're seeing a bunch of times here, before he does other things, reduces enemy resistances. In many cases, it can add as much as 3 times damage because of how much it lowers their resistance, especially against more powerful enemies. It's effective.
Yeah, so basically what Vulnerability Hex is, it reduces resistances, and it's based on your spell power. So spell power is like a stat that's calculated from your magic. So with the amount of magic I have, every enemy in the game will go to negative 100% resistance on every type of resistance. So that is really useful, especially in like the Archdemon fight. The Archdemon usually has like really, really high resistances, and giving it no resistance is pretty useful. Okay.
It's worth mentioning that you can defeat Sir Catherine there, and not even that difficultly. It's just faster to get arrested at this point and thrown in jail.
Yes. So I didn't really mention it, but one of the reasons I'm keeping this temporary party member around is because he doesn't get kicked out of the party in areas where I'm supposed to be solo, like Arl Eamon's estate and such. But one other thing that he doesn't get kicked out of is the prison sequence where you're imprisoned. And if you left hold position on when you entered the conversation with Sir Catherine, he'll just be standing at the door to exit the whole prison escape sequence. Okay. So you saw there that I went back to camp. That's just to avoid random encounters that can happen in Denerim. So if you go back to the camp and then go into Denerim, you'll get back to the market district, and that's where I needed to get to anyways.
And there are 2 chances for random encounters in Denerim. He did not get one the first time.
Yes, so there's 5 total times you can get an encounter, and there's 2 different encounters you can get in Denerim, and you can skip 2 of those by going back. 2 of those 5 chances by going back to the camp. So that was the first opportunity I had to do that. So now we're just going back to talk to Arl Eamon again and advance some more story triggers.
And you may have noticed earlier that he set up some of his characters in specific places with hold position just to speed the navigation around this area.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have to go to the Alienage. So the Alienage is the only place in Denerim you can't get to just by opening up the map when you leave Arl Eamon's estate. You need to... What am I doing? You need to actually walk over to where the entrance to it is, at least the first time you travel there. So that's what I'm going to be doing, walking over to where it is. So you'll see me do this quick save, quick load a lot. That's because every time Morgan leaves my party, she also loses haste. So a lot of times I turn off haste, quick save, reload, and put haste on again. If you have any more donations, you could do them right now.
Absolutely. I've got $10 from the Tortoise King, who says, I woke up to see one of my favorite games being torn apart. I had to check my bank account to see if I had enough money for a donation. Good luck, letters. Cleanse those darkspawn. More donations to come after work tonight.
Real quick, you can continue right after this. This is one of those random encounters, and obviously you can see he's not doing it the intended way. You can continue.
Thanks to Sea Pancake for a $50 donation. They say, looking forward to seeing how broken Dragon Age is as I'm playing it through for the first time at the moment. Remember to make all those traps, stranger. Good luck to letters and all the runners. And also $50 received from Scafiddles, who says, hey, letters, please try to keep the swooping down to a minimum, because after all, swooping is bad. And Cam sends in $20 saying, I've been watching GDQ for years now, and this is the first year I finally have money to donate. Dragon Age is my favorite franchise, so it makes sense to donate during it. Good luck, letters. Put this money toward Bloodborne, find the canon.
And he just sided with slavers there, made a deal with them.
Yeah, so the only way you can really talk them down is to just side with them. If you do some other stuff beforehand, like some side quest stuff, you can get them to stand down on their own and stop being bad. But if you make a deal with them, you don't need to go through that whole process. Okay. So we got our third save and quit here. Yeah. So what else did I want to mention? Surprisingly, I guess, that conversation with the slavers, I can just hit 1 through the entire thing and pick all the right options. Also, I didn't mention this on the way to the alienage, but we're going kind of a weird path here. Like, there's a more direct route to get back to Arl Eamon's estate on the other side of that, like, island in the center of the market. But there's a guy there who will talk to you if you get anywhere close to him and pull you out of Flying Swarm. And if you don't get the right conversation options with him, it'll cause a 3rd random encounter to automatically appear the next time you go anywhere in Denerim, so that's not good.
Well worth the extra second or possibly 2.
Yes.
Okay, so now Alistair's back in our party because we have to bring him. So we pass on Morrigan because we don't need to do a lot of running in this section. But if we do get another random encounter, we want to have Sten with us to be able to go out of bounds to skip past it. And now we're going to the Landsmeet, which is the final part of this kind of section in Denerim, where we confront the bad guys and kill them, basically.
So there's a conversation there that he just got through because of his cunning score and the abilities he took when leveling up. Now, the Loghain fight is one of the more unpredictable ones, depending on where he goes. So, there's Inferno.
I've never seen this happen before. He never runs towards you to attack you, almost ever. So that's, I guess, our never happened before for this run. But it's a good never happened before.
He normally likes to run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he normally likes to run away. Also, one thing that didn't happen there, which is also good, is a lot of times he'll go down to like 0 health, but the cutscene won't play right away. That advances to the second phase of the fight, and he'll just like run around for a while, and his health will keep going up, and then it won't trigger because people will be healing him, and it's really annoying.
So that section was pretty much ideal.
Yeah, so that is pretty much as good as it could have gone. I was kind of caught off guard because I killed the first phase so fast that I didn't have stuff off cooldown that I would normally have off cooldown by the second phase of the fight.
Yes.
All right, so now we're heading into like the last section of the game, kind of. So we're done in Denerim, so now we're just rallying our armies to confront the Darkspawn, basically. So we have to go to Redcliffe for that. And that'll be our one other chance at a random encounter in the wider world. So you can still get one here, it's just very unlikely relative to if I hadn't got that encounter on the way into Denerim. And of course, I get one. So hopefully it's the faster one. Usually it is. Okay, yes.
It is.
So that's the one really fast random encounter. You can just leave right away. Like, you just turn around and leave. It's just like a merchant guy who's on the road who you like talk to and buy stuff from. The other one is a little more complicated, but thankfully we didn't see that one. That one is really long, but it's also the one I get the least amount of time. Okay, so now we're going to grab some more spells now that we've leveled up a couple times. So we grabbed Drain Life because we're going to start to have problems with our health, even though we went up to pretty high health. Like, things we'll just be getting hit by so many enemies at certain points that we need to have some way to heal ourselves. And it turns out, Drain Life being offensive as well as healing you is way better than just a regular heal. So now we have kind of difficult combat section to do correctly. Some of these enemies can act kind of unpredictably, and there's a lot of different things to worry about, so hopefully we get a pretty good one. So like one thing that can be variable is those guys that just attacked me down here. Sometimes they'll just run past you, sometimes they'll just confront you. Depends. Varies from run to run what happens. Also, there's guys up here that can die either really fast or take forever to die. Like this is kind of bad because this guy usually runs down to attack you, but he wasn't, and that's gonna waste some time. And this guy somehow didn't die, even though I
Yeah.
have a big Inferno there.
That
And
often-
yeah, so this is bad because you want Inferno to still be up when the Ogre comes, because that'll just give you an additional damage over time on him that'll kill him a bit faster. But hopefully it'll still be pretty good. Yeah, see, he was dead before I even cast that fireball, but it's okay. I still have to wait for this guy to come talk to me. Alright. So now we just have a couple people to talk to in Redcliffe Castle, and then we'll get into the last section of the game with the attack on Denerim. This is a good time for donations if you have any.
We do, actually. Let's see, Arg Demon sends in $25 saying, awesome to see a Dragon Age speed run. The runner gets to decide if the Archdemon should be considered an animal. Oh, speaking of, what is runner's choice, by the way?
Kill the animals.
Right on. Okay.
Well
We have
appropriate.
$20 from Glasnonk, who says, hey, Letters, glad to be able to catch your run live. That's enough talking for now. Lurk mode activate. Put this donation to Runner's Choice. So we'll take care of that for you. Also, $10 from Anonymous, who says, good luck, Dan. I'm rooting from you. Signed, your brother, Patrick.
Oh, thanks. That's my brother. He's cool. He's watching it. He said he was going to take the day off work to watch it, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if he ended up doing that, but if he did, that's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to do our last save and quit here. So this is one time I should mention, because this is the only time it really does matter. But one other thing that happens as a result of the memory leak is that enemies start to act kind of weird if you've been playing for a while, in that they just, if they're engaged in like fighting you, but they're really far away, they'll just stand around and won't do anything if you've got your game memory leaking for a while, which is really bad on this fight because every enemy in the entire area is aggroed to you, but it's a really large map, so a lot of them are really far away from where you are, and they'll just stand around and you really have to chase them down. So it's really important that we actually do it there to make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, so I have a very kind of specific plan for what I do for the combat here. Basically, this area where I'm in right now is like the main area where enemies are coming from. They come from another area as well, but this is where kind of the largest stream of them is coming from. So I'm basically waiting until Inferno gets off cooldown again, and I'm just going to cast it here. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm just going to kill as many of them as I can, so that hopefully, you know, enough waves will have come that by the time I cast Inferno, Inferno will kill anyone else who comes. It'll last long enough. Okay. Alright, so now I can walk away and go back over here, because even though there's like a bunch of people helping you kill stuff, they're really bad at killing enemies, so I have to like tell them everything to do, or just kill everything myself, basically. Part of the reason they're bad at killing it is because it basically puts all your party members in this area, and they're all like really low level for what they should be at this point in the game. Even though I did the level up glitch, I'm still like under leveled relative to what the game expects you to be at this area. I'm like level 12 or 13, and you should be like 15 to 20 at the time when you take on this part of the game. Okay, that's good. So you know you finished this part when he gets the quest update. Alright, so now I'm finally going to get rid of the temporary party member, because there is a section of this part of the Battle for Denerim where you're supposed to like split up your party, and at a certain point you'll switch to the party that you split off from and fight with them for a while. Which we really don't want to do, because our main character is the only good character in our party.
But fortunately, since he doesn't have extra characters right now, having all his quote-unquote real party members with him, that just doesn't trigger.
Yes, so it should trigger on this current map transition, but it won't. So it should have triggered right there when I get to this little section there. Okay, so we got another out-of-bounds section to do here. Gotta grab one last ability first. Okay. Look at this.
That's just for damage over time later.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that
Yes.
most of the abilities I've been grabbing lately are just for the Archdemon fight. Killing the Archdemon fast requires a lot of different abilities, basically. And it doesn't take that much time to get them. And it does help for some of the intervening fights. The one that really doesn't help for anything other than the Archdemon and the Ogre that I fought back in Redcliffe is Virulent Walking Bomb. It's just not that useful because I already have a lot of area attacks. And there's not a lot of bosses between when I get it and the end of the game, so the damage over time doesn't really make much of a difference on a lot of the enemies. So I should mention, this is the only out of bounds that I do by using visual cues rather than looking at the minimap. The minimap doesn't tell you anything, but since you're outside, you can see everything that's going on. And
Now we're on to the end game for Draken.
yes, so this is my least favorite fight of the entire run. It's just really random what can happen here. So you see this dragon that came down. There's always going to be at least one dragon, but sometimes there's two, which is not good. Waste a lot of time. And there's just like a ton of enemies, and since your party members are really bad, they like to die on this fight a lot, and we got the second dragon, so that's not good. But yeah, so your party members like to die, and one thing I didn't really mention because it hasn't really factored in is that you can't actually get out of combat unless all your party members are revived, and they won't revive unless you're near them. Like if you're too far away from them, they'll just stay dead, and one of them already died, which
Yeah,
is
Sten
bad.
dropped, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, Sten is like pretty likely to die. He has like no equipment on him by default, and I never changed anyone's equipment, so he died. This is bad because everyone died. This is not good. I won't die, but it's just going to be a pain to pick everyone up.
Yeah, despite being incredibly overpowered, you're really not good on your own. For
Yeah.
The final battle, or final couple battles.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, even though my stats are really high, I can still die pretty fast because I'm still really not good at taking a lot of damage because I'm a mage. I'm not really supposed to be getting hit by a lot of stuff. Okay, so now we're going to show off the one place in the game where the conversation glitch doesn't bring you out of bounds.
Yes.
At least the one place I know of that it doesn't bring you out of bounds. So the default position on this map just happens to be somewhere that's in bounds. I still do it because it skips past a couple enemy triggers. I should also mention, the way I'm doing this section is not the fastest way to do this section. It's just way safer than the fast strategy. Okay, so that's good.
Yeah, the
that
fast-
guy can teleport back into that room, but what? How did someone die? What? Why is he not reviving? Okay.
That
Well,
was
whatever.
a most difficult battle.
Apparently it was, Sten.
What is going on? I was not moving there, and it just like pushed me up into aggroing this fight. I don't know what that was about. Another thing I've never seen happen before, so that's our second. That's never happened before. So yeah. So what you would do on this section is basically lure all of these enemies into this room ahead here, and use Inferno and group them up like near the stairs, and then take off the boss enemies who won't die to Inferno alone, which saves maybe like 5 or 10 seconds over the way I did it, assuming, you know, optimally doing the way I just did it versus optimally doing it the faster way. All right, so we're almost done here. We have just one more out-of-bounds section to do than the final boss.
This out-of-bounds section is also a little bit unique in that you really have to be careful with it and make sure you don't aggro any of the enemies inside the hall. Because for whatever reason, this area, unlike any of the others, if you aggro some enemies, it'll just crash the game.
Yeah, so if you aggro enemies from out-of-bounds in most areas, it doesn't really have any bad effect. But for some reason, here it does.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to try to avoid that. So I'm going to take like a very winding path around the door, around to the door where we need to go through to get to the final boss. So yeah. I did mention I am navigating by minimap, but I also need to know for some parts just the general direction to go, because as you could see there, there was like nothing on my minimap until I went far enough in a certain direction. Okay, so here is the door of the last boss. So we're going to quick save here just in case it crashes, which it didn't. So.
And the strategy against the final boss is pretty simple. Vulnerability hex, damage over time, and...
So we got the bad pattern. He usually... The area where you saw him when he first came in, which was over there, he usually stays there, but sometimes he'll just lift off right away and land right on top of where you are, which is the bad pattern. Alright, so... what's going on? Okay. Yeah, this is kind of bad. It shouldn't be a problem, but... Because of that, I guess I missed one spell cast on him, and he didn't die fast enough.
Yeah,
okay,
so that was
get ready on time here in a second. Time.
Now the mage wields a sword because they didn't program any additional unique finishers here. Suddenly knows how to use it well, apparently.
Yep.
And that was actually, because of the bad pattern and the missed spellcast, a very slow archdemon fight.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance, if all had gone well, that it would have died while it was still down in that lower area, right about that amount of time into the battle. So it took about twice as long, actually.
Yeah, I would say probably about close to twice as long. Because when he flies away to this like inaccessible area, I'll just skip past this, which I thought he had done when he hadn't done it yet. And if I had known that, I would have cast another spell on him to advance his advance a little faster. Okay, so now there's just this endgame sequence. Talking about all this stuff we accomplished and how great we are. And that'll be it.
And yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
Yes, I am kind of a big deal, apparently. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you like Bioware games, I run all of them mostly, so yeah. You should check me out. There's some other cool people who donated who also do that, so Pally Tankful, Glassnong, they run other Bioware games. So anyways, thanks everyone. What? Okay. That's my RTA PB. I don't know. It could be more of a record, but it's probably not.
We received a $10 donation from Balmora Blue Addict, who says, "Letters, it takes me over an hour to leave Ostagar. You make playing a mage in DAO look like a piece of cake. Sten loves cake." And Narendor, also with $10, saying, "Hey guys, Dragon Age Origins is what got me into RPGs, and I'm still a diehard fan of the series. I was so happy to see it on the schedule, and I had to catch it live. Good luck on the run, and mad props to everyone making this awesome event happen. This isn't much, but my donation goes to Runner's Choice."
You are watching Awesome Games Done Quick 2016, powered by Twitch. In just a few minutes, we will be beginning our Grand Theft Auto 3 run, as we join MH and Claude as they try to exact revenge on their former crime partner who betrayed them. For those of you who would like to participate at home, we currently have a big board going on for the radio station we shall be playing while we do that. Will you be choosing to have No Love for Donald Love with Keja? Will you follow Laszlo and his desperate pleas for sane callers with Chatterbox FM? Or will you let the nonstop rock of DJ Michael Hunt take you away? The choice is yours. Currently, it seems Double Clef FM and all the great hits of the 80s, 1780s, is in the lead by $300 or so. We have a $10 donation from Narendor. Hey guys, Dragon Age Origins is what got me into RPGs. I'm still a diehard fan of the series. I was so happy to see it on the schedule and had to catch it live. Good luck on the runs, Letter Swords, and mad props to everyone making this awesome event happen. It's not much, but my donation goes to Runner's Choice. We have a $75 donation from Porcupine Guy. Hey HDQ, I've wanted to donate for a while and have finally been able to this year. My nephew was diagnosed with brain cancer just after his first birthday. I'm happy to say he won his fight, but he still has a long road of recovery ahead. Along the way, we are introduced to others much like my nephew undergoing the same fight, and often with more negative results.